It's the biggest party of the summer this weekend as SummerSlam kicks off with night one. So let's get into the rundown of night one of SummerSlam. If you've seen a rundown before, you know how this works. And if you haven't, it's basically I go through all the matches on the card, give my thoughts on the matches, then I go back through the card and give my predictions. So let's not waste any time and get into the start of night one, SummerSlam 2026. Starting things off, we've got a six-man tag match of LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Powerhouse Hobbs, obviously now known as Royce Keys, against the Bloodlines, Jacob Fatu, and the Usos. Now, this is just a way of getting a bunch of lads on the card, especially the Bloodline, considering that Roman's in the main event. You're going to need to get these guys on the card. Plus, you want to keep plate spinning with Jacob and Roman after their feud. And you've just got a bunch of lads going up against them. So it's not really much of a match. And the build hasn't been anything interesting. So this could be one of those, I could skip this just to go and get my refreshments or go to the toilet sort of match. Following that, we have the Bellas of Brie and Nikki, who's just made her return after being out with an injury, and Paige teaming up against Fatal Influence of JC Jane, Laney Reed, and Fallon Henry. This, again, is just to get everyone on the card, much like the six-man tag that I just mentioned. This isn't going to be much of a match. I reckon this could be your second refreshments, get a drink, toilet break match. But I have a suspicion we'll be seeing something happen at the end of the night for these six women. Then we have our first championship match, and that is the Women's World Championship match of Liv Morgan and Io Sky. This has been a mess of a build. Well, to be fair, the entire women's division thus far this year has just gone nosedive off a cliff. And Liv Morgan's latest title run is the best evidence of that. She won it at WrestleMania in a bad match against Stephanie Vaquer. Then she's not defended it on pay-per-view. She's barely been given a storyline, and then she's put in the Women's Queen of the Ring tournament, which is designed to give the winner a title shot at SummerSlam at the champion. Yet Liv was in the tournament and she's the world champion. That just tells you they had no plans. So in the finals of said tournament, it was Liv versus Io, and Io beat Liv to beat Liv, who is the women's world champion. So automatically that would mean Io is better than Liv and should be world champion. But she had to beat Liv to win Queen of the Ring to then challenge Liv for the world title that she's already just beaten. It makes no sense. And then the build to the actual match on the following week's rules has just been nothing special. So yeah, the build has sadly been pants, but I'm hoping though the match itself will live up to expectations. Then we have Gunther versus Nick Aldis, and boy, what a fumble they've done yet again with Gunther. It's not hard to book Gunther. You have him as a monster heel that holds the champion for ages, dominates everyone. You then build a beloved babyface to overthrow him as the monster heel. So how have you fumbled that ever since he lost the IC belt? We had here his world title run. It was lackluster. Lost and tapped to Jey Uso. Then we had his second world title run, which wasn't that memorable. He main evented night one of SummerSlam last year against CM Punk in a brilliant match. But then, nothing. Yes, he beat retired Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles in the last year. But those accomplishments are definitely great, but then you're just not doing anything with him. You have him challenge for the world title several times, but fail to win it. And now he's in yet another authority figure commentator feud. Because remember, last year he was facing Pat McAfee in a match over Michael Cole, pretty much. And it was just a waste of Gunter. And this is such a waste of Gunter again. This is nothing against Nick Aldis, though, because Nick Aldis, or Magnus, when he was in TNA, is great. But in WWE, he's the SmackDown GM. That's it. He's never been presented as a wrestler. So why are we doing Gunter versus Nick Aldis when the obvious answer is Gunter should just destroy him and should be in the world title picture, or should be world champion right now? But no, this is where we are. And I feel like this is just going to be a repeat of everything we have with Gunter. In our penultimate match of the evening on night one, it's Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi inside Hell in a Cell. Now, this has had ups and downs, this feud. The build to WrestleMania was brilliant. The match at WrestleMania was good, but could have been better. I didn't believe the Brock retirement when it happened at Mania. I didn't believe it for a second. But obviously a lot of people liked it. Then Brock out of nowhere was like, I'm not retired. I want to challenge Obafemi again because I want to get my win back. Their match at Clash in Italy, best match on that card, and was the match they should have had at WrestleMania with Oba winning. But that was just there so Brock could get his win back. So we're one each. Oba then wins King of the Ring. Yes, great. But we know he's still got Brock in line. And then Oba, instead of challenging Roman Reigns or Sami Zayn or Punk, whoever would have been the champion when he made his decision, he relinquishes his title shot. And I hated this. I thought this was dropping the ball so much. But god damn it, they actually made it make sense when Oba then cut a promo on Brock saying the reason why he gave up his King of the Ring title shot was because Brock would have screwed him out of his title shot. And until he's dealt with Brock, he can't go for the world title. So that does actually make some sense and gives reason why Oba isn't going to be in the world title picture for a little while. Yet, though, this is an obvious answer of who should win, and I will get to my predictions, but please let this be a car crash match in the best way possible. Just let these guys have the time and go at it inside Hell in a Cell. And I tell you what, you can throw all the shade you want at Triple H, but one thing you can't disagree against him is how he's dealt Hell in a Cell since he's taken over, and he's brought it back to how it was, the end to the feud, the big terrifying structure that changes lives. Look at how successful Punk and Drew was because of Hell in a Cell. That match alone brought Hell in a Cell back from the grave that was the match stipulation pay-per-view of, oh, it's October, Hell in a Cell. This match needs to be inside Hell in a Cell. Has it got anything to do with it? No, it's just that time again. So let's hope that this match can carry on elevating Hell in a Cell back to where it belonged. And that is the feud ender. And hopefully this will pay off and will conclude a great feud. And in our main event of night one, we have got CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, this is probably the biggest match WWE have been putting off for years with these two. They've teased it several times. They've been in promos before the Royal Rumble. My personal favourite is the one where Punk tells Cody, the longer you hold that belt, the heavier it gets, and it gets lonelier at the top of the hill, and it will start corrupting you. And we've seen that. Cody has been more aggressive in the weeks leading up to this match. And obviously, fans aren't so happy with Punk immediately beating Sammy for the title when Sammy had just won it. But when you look at it, this is the bigger money match. But the question really is, it's not who's going to win, but who's going to turn on the other. We've had teases of Cody turning, and we know the fans are starting to get fed up with babyface Cody. So it would be a change of character for him, but maybe that is the swerve. They're making you think it would be Cody, when in actuality, the better option would be heel CM Punk. As we all know, no one's better than heel CM Punk. No one. So could that be the swerve of the night for night one? But we'll have to wait and see. Predictions time. Night one edition. Starting back at the top, we've got LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Powerhouse Hobbs versus the Bloodline. This is obvious. It's the Bloodline. This is the only reason this match is on the card, is to give Jacob and the Usos a win and to feature them on the card. So yeah, the Bloodline to win this bunch of lads match. Moving on to the bunch of women's match of the Bellas, Paige versus Fatal Influence. I'm going with Fatal Influence because it would be great for them to get a big win on a huge stage, especially as they've been elevated up, recently beating Brie and Paige for the women's tag team titles at Saturday night's main event. But here's what I think is going to happen. I think Nikki is going to turn on Paige, kicking her out, turning the Bellas heel, because Paige took her spotlight at Mania with the return, leading to potentially the Bellas winning the tag titles and Paige challenging them with her own partner. And if you remember 2015, you'll know who I'm talking about. So that is what I think will happen at the end of this match. But like I said, I'm going with Fatal Influence to win here. Following that, we have the Women's World title match of Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. And if Io Sky doesn't win here, who I am predicting, this is going to be the ultimate disaster. Because I'm sorry, if Liv beats Io here, it makes no sense and just shows that the world title doesn't matter, which it already has no credibility because of how they've treated it. But if Io beat Liv to win Queen of the Ring and she was already the world champion, then lose to Liv at SummerSlam, but she's also the champion, it wouldn't work. So the only option here is to have Io win. So yeah, my prediction is your new Women's World Champion, Io Sky. Next, we have Gunther versus Nick Aldis. Gunther. There is no other option. There's no question in my mind. It is Gunther. Like I said, he's above this sort of feud. I hate to see him in this position, but this is the position they've put him in. So obviously, you have Gunther win here. Enough said. Moving on to the Hell in a Cell of Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. Now, obviously, there was the rumor midway last year that this would be Brock's retirement match at SummerSlam, considering it's in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Brock's hometown, and he was going to be facing Gunther. Obviously, that's not the case. But seeing how Brock really seems to be happy and willing to work and put over Oba, I wouldn't be surprised if this might be Brock's retirement match. Even though there isn't a retirement stipulation, I wouldn't be surprised. And that means the ruler, Obafemi, is my predicted person to win this match. And it will help him rise up through the ranks and keep that momentum. But that's down to WWE. And in our main event of night one of SummerSlam, it's CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE Championship. And I'm going with my heart. CM Punk is going to retain over Cody Rhodes in this match. And CM Punk's going to turn heel doing it. It's going to be the swerve. Everyone thinks Cody's going to turn heel. Swerve. Punk cheats to win, takes advantage and retains. And then we get heel CM Punk. And then you can do a rematch, maybe at Mania next year, of heel CM Punk versus Cody for the title again. And Cody can win it as the underdog babyface. They always like to do. Hope you enjoyed that. That's my predictions for night one of SummerSlam. Night two. Just like what I did with night one, I'm going to go through all the matches, then go back through them again with my predictions. So let's start off with a 5-woman ladder match for the interim Women's Championship of Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green, Charlotte Flair, Julia, and Lash Legend. This, unfortunately, with Rhea Ripley's injury, she's not on the card. So they are doing this multi-woman ladder match to crown an interim women's champion. And this should be a fun match. And when I'll go into my thoughts a bit more when I go into my predictions, but the way I look at it is there's only 2 potential winners here. And it's not going to be Jade because no one wants her as world champion again because that was a disaster. I'll leave that there. I'll go into my thoughts a bit more when I get to my predictions. Following that, we have Penta versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. And much like Brock, Chad's in his hometown of Minnesota. Now, Chad is on the momentum of a lifetime, coming off of his mask versus mask match in AAA. He has had the momentum given back to him, a resurgence, if you will, of his career, just like he had in the months heading up to WrestleMania 40, where he was the right person to dethrone Gunther back then, but they didn't pull the trigger now, and this is the time. It's obvious who's going to win here. I'll give my prediction in a bit. Next, we have a number 1 contenders match, and it's for the undisputed WWE Championship, as Sami Zayn is going to have to fight Finn Balor to try and get his rematch clause, as they have kind of screwed Sami over, as he didn't get his rematch against CM Punk for the WWE Championship, but he has to earn it again. Now, this is my dream come true. 2 guys from the black and gold era of NXT that I fell in love with. And you know I love the proper Finn Balor. So to get these 2 in a match at SummerSlam, please WWE, stop bollocksing the timings of matches like you did at WrestleMania and give these 2 the time, because they can put on a show stealer. So yeah. And considering who I think is going to win the WWE title match, will feed into who I think is going to win this match. I'll leave it there though. Then we have Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin for the United States Championship. Baron Corbin returned to the company, targeting Trick Williams, establishing him as a mid-card heel. And to be honest, this is perfect. He was always a mid-card heel. That is his perfect slot in the company. I could never take him seriously, especially as Constable Corbin, when he was in the main event challenging for the Universal WWE Championship against Seth, Braun, Roman, you name it. It was never convincing. So for him to come back and be inserted in the United States Championship picture is perfect for him, and this is the best use of him. So yeah, this will be an all right match, I would assume. It's not going to be groundbreaking because it's a Baron Corbin match, but Trick might be able to pull out a good performance from him. And also, it's nice to see them actually giving the mid card titles an actual spotlight on the main shows. And in your penultimate match of night 2, it's Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio in a Human Monies on a pole match. Yes, the legacy of WCW in the latter years lives on. The pole match returns. I'm actually kind of excited for this, and I think it works because of the gimmick of it being Danhausen. Now, there is an argument this could affect Dom's credibility as the AAA Mega Champion, but I don't think it will too much because WWE and AAA are been established as separate entities, completely separate entities. So I don't think Dom being in this position doing the goofy Danhausen comedy wrestling is going to affect him too much in AAA. But as we know, Dom is actually really good with the comedy stuff. Just look at his feud against AJ Styles last year's SummerSlam with all the backstage segments with AJ. Don't get me wrong, it was AJ that was the best thing in those segments, but it worked because he had Dom to play off of. So this is definitely going to be a fun match. And finally, in our main event of night 2, and in our main event of the entire of SummerSlam, we have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. In a match that WWE love to try and do, I and most of the fans now seem to be a bit sick of, because WWE are trying to tell you that Roman Reigns has never beaten Seth Rollins. And that might be true on pay-per-view, but he definitely has beaten Seth in other matches. But they always come back to this, always, of the Shield. Who remembers the Shield? Except for Jon Moxley, because he's actually doing some good stuff in AEW. But I mean, I'm just not interested in this feud. Roman is a great character at the moment. I love Roman with his like renaissance since not turning babyface, because he's not a babyface, he's just a tweener. He's still the same sort of douchebag that he was in as the Tribal Chief in the OG Bloodline. He's just cool about it now. And I can't stand Seth's character. I find him obnoxious. I just want these two to be over and done with, and we can move on from the Shield. But we'll give it a couple of more years and we'll have another moment where Roman wants to hit a chair over Seth. But will it be a clean finish? That's the question. Predictions. Night 2 edition. Going back to the top, the women's fatal 5-way ladder match. Who do I think is going to be your new interim women's champion until Rhea Ripley comes back from her injury? Now, like I said, there's only 2 picks for me. I don't see it being Jade because no one wants her to win the world title again. It's not going to be Tiffany because she's a United States champion, and she's only here as a former champion and to fill the role. There is an argument you could do something shocking and give it to like Julia or Lash Legend, especially after her really good performance at the Royal Rumble earlier this year. But maybe they're not the right ones right now, because then you've got to look who they can go up against. But the question is, do I go with my heart or my head? Now, my head is saying the logical thing that WWE are going to do, and to be honest, it will probably lead to the better outcome, and that is Charlotte Flair winning here. Now, Charlotte hasn't won a world title in a couple of years, and we're kind of ready for her, because her being in the tag team with Alexa really helped like get the fatigue of Charlotte wins a title again out of our system. So we're ready for her to win a new title. And you know that her versus Rhea, when Rhea's back, will be a solid match, great match. But my heart, and what I honestly would love to happen, is Chelsea Green wins it. Why not? You got her in a ladder match. She doesn't need to pin anyone. She could sneak her way up the ladder when everyone's too busy or is out and just win it. And think of it, the pop that the crowd will give for Chelsea winning it. But there's something even better. You could have a cowardly heel retaining the belt, and she doesn't have to beat the big name. She can just cheat to win it, and it'd be obvious that she isn't world title material until Rhea Bloody Ripley comes back, and Chelsea knows she is in trouble when she can't escape the champ. That's what my heart's saying. But as much as I want to say it, my prediction is Chelsea Green, I'm going with Charlotte Flair to be your new women's WWE interim champion. Intercontinental Championship of Penta versus Chad Gable. Now, Penta has had a decent little reign. He's had some good matches, but he hasn't done anything groundbreaking. And the fact that it's in Minnesota means 100% Chad Gable is winning the Intercontinental Champion. Finally, he's going to be champion. And I think no one is going to be against that call, especially, like I said, with this career renaissance he is on. And that. So, yeah. My prediction is Chad Gable to win the Intercontinental Championship. In the number one contenders match for the undisputed WWE Championship of Sami versus Finn, you could go either way here. You could go either way. It all depends, like I said, even though I'm predicting CM Punk to win and turn in heel, that doesn't matter. It all depends on who WWE pick. Because whoever wins that match, I think will determine who wins this match. And because I'm picking Punk and turning heel, as much as I want my favourite Finn Balor to win, we've already seen Balor versus Punk for a world title this year. It was good, don't get me wrong, it was very good, but we've already seen it. Why not go with Sami winning, and that's who I'm predicting, Sami Zayn to win here. And you get underdog, beloved babyface Sami Zayn going up against heel CM Punk for the WWE Championship. I think that would be great. So yeah, my prediction is Sami Zayn to win the number one contendership. The United States Championship match of Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin. Who's going to win here? And this might come as a surprise, me saying we're going to be getting another new champion. I think, why not? Have Baron Corbin win here. It wouldn't hurt. Trick has held it since WrestleMania. Yeah? It wouldn't hurt him dropping it here. And it would extend and expand the United States Championship picture on SmackDown. Baron Corbin, like I said, is the perfect mid-card heel for like this US division. You could then have him and Mello go at it. You could have him and Trick. They could hot potato it between a couple of stars, but establish a United States Championship card like they've done on Raw with the IC belt. Granted, I know Penta has held the IC belt throughout this picture, but we've got a lot more people in that title picture than we have on SmackDown for the US picture. So my prediction is Baron Corbin is your new United States champion. And in the penultimate match of Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio for Human Monies on a pole match, do I even need to try and argue who I think is going to win here? This is going to be Danhausen. This is a goofy comedy match that the crowd are going to love, and Danhausen's going to win. It's going to have interference everywhere. You'll have the mini Hausens. You're going to have JD. You probably have Roxanne, Raquel, and you might even get Liv in there. after she's lost the world title to help Dom. But at the end of the day, Danhausen is going to regain those human monies that he stole from the Judgment Day. And it won't hurt Dom too much because he'll go down to AAA, defend the AAA Mega Championship, and then he'll be able to move on like this never happened. So yeah, Danhausen to win here. And in our main event, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Do I think shenanigans are going to be in this match? Yes, but I probably don't think it's going to be bloodline interference. I think it's going to come back down to the chair and the fact that Roman uses it, Seth teases Roman with it, and it's going to play a factor into the finish. And I think then WWE can be happy and say, finally, Roman Reigns has defeated Seth Rollins on a PLE. So yeah, my prediction is Roman Reigns to regain the World Heavyweight Championship because I'm looking at the bigger picture, which is Roman versus Oba Femi for the World Heavyweight Championship, potentially at next year's WrestleMania. That's the bigger picture here. This is just the money match they wanted to do at WrestleMania. If Seth hadn't got injured, it would have been the main event. You wouldn't have gotten Roman versus Punk. You would have gotten Roman versus Seth. So they're just doing it here now because both men are currently active. Those are all my predictions for both night 1 and night 2 of SummerSlam this weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my past videos. Keep an eye out for future ones. And until next time, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.